sustainability. That is one of the reasons why oil palm was chosen for this project. Secondly is that it's not just enough to just select a crop type. It's also important to select a crop type that gives you what I would call sustainability and adaptability to your immediate environment. Because one of the challenges we do have is that a number of people often consider investment and tree crop type without considering the immediate environment. So you have to look at the combination of two to have the best result. And that led us to the kind of variety we adopted, which is Tenera. You can Google Tenera at your convenience. It is the most, how would I call it now? It's the most recommendable variety, especially when you are going commercial. And it is also hybrid. It is more like improved variety. So they are getting better productivity in terms of yield, in terms of disease resistance, in terms of even management itself. Because when you look far back at our indigenous variety that we used to have, there used to be this very tall oil palm variety. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So that is one of the things our scientists have worked on to ensure that, with ease in harvesting, it brings ease in management. So when you have an oil palm variety that is an average of, let's say, my height is around, I'm around less than 2 meters. I'm around 6 feet 3 inches. When you have an oil palm that is around 9 to 10 feet at most, that gives you the leverage to manage easily. And when you now look at the yield, which is also very important, which is the center of why we're investing in this, the yield is very promising with an average of 15 to 25 tons FFP. FFP is fresh farm beef per bundle. Exactly, fresh farm bunch per bundle. So when you now convert that at a conversion ratio of 20%, so that gives you a significant in terms of yield compared to our normal indigenous variety. So you can comfortably say that this is a variety that gives you assurance, that gives you credibility, and also gives you, most importantly, durability. Because that is one of the things people overlook when going into crop farming. They just look at the yield, they look at how fast it is to start from, but they don't look at the durability. Because the durability is something that can tell you that you can keep earning XYZ amount for the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That's the difference compared to varieties that will give you productivity in less than 10 years. So those are some of the things that makes this strategic investment unique from what you have. Then another thing I would like to mention to wrap up is that this kind of investment is what we call in the agricultural sector cluster farming. Now, what is cluster farming? Cluster farming simply means different investors coming together to partner within a confined area. Now, if you look at it individually, if you want to set up this kind of investment, these are the things you will go through. You will procure your land yourself. You will put in infrastructure in place yourself. You will put in security in place yourself. You will put in technical management and all yourself. Now, when you now look at those individual costs, compared to you coming together with people to partner with them, you will be removing some overhead costs. So that increases your revenue margin and shorten your capital investment. So those are some of the strategic things that makes this kind of investment very, very considerable. And that is what even the big firms are doing now. They are merging to look at ways they can cut costs, minimize risk, and increase profitability. So by conclusion, I would say that this kind of investment gives you assurance that you're on the right step, and in particular the crop type you're dealing with a credible crop, a credible variety that gives you assurance, especially in terms of productivity and durability. Thank you very much.
All right. So you can see that our farm manager is very intelligent. Can you see from the video? All right. So thank you very much. So I'm going to talk to us about 10 key benefits of investing into palm place. Right? 10 key benefits of investing into Zenithal palm place. So first of all, I want us to know that oil palm is a real asset. We are buying real estate. Why do we call it real estate? It is because you can see it. There are many estates that you don't have to necessarily see them. When a man dies, they will say transfer all of this into the man's estate or transfer his estate to his beneficiaries. But what we are talking about here is real estate, right? So the oil palm business, the oil palm investment, Zenithal Palm Place is a real asset, and we are standing on the farm itself, so we can see it, right? So we've already planted quite a number of acres. That's why today we are allocated. As I'm talking to you, we have more than 100 acres that's already due for allocation, and that's what you see. That was the first thing that we took care of. Secondly, I want you to understand that oil palm is a long-term income, is a means of getting long-term income. So once you establish it, like we have done now, in the next 3 years, all you need to do is just to wait for 3 years, and then you start making money on an annual basis. I was speaking with a client who knows so much about the oil palm. He said, you know that oil palm business is like oil money. I said, we are spending money annually. So imagine if you have 100 acres of oil palm 5 years ago, how rich will you be today? And you will enjoy that money for minimum 30 years to 50 years or even more, right? Thank you. Right, so someone is even confirming that even 70 years, right? So again, I want to let us know that oil palm products, they are in growing demands. They are used in industrial productions, in pharmaceuticals, in our everyday food that we eat. There's hardly anyone who has eaten today that palm oil is not part of what was used to prepare your food. Fruits, the palm kernel, the fiber, the shell, and other byproducts, they all have commercial values, right? Then the land appreciation, the price that you are buying today is 3,750,000 for an acre. An acre is 6 plots, right? So your standard 6 plots, which is 3 million, that's about 625,000 naira in total, right? And then you realize that that amount is not the amount that you will, that amount is not the amount that it will be. What is it? Is there a problem?
Continue, sir.
Is there a problem? All right. Okay. So that amount is not the amount that it will be in 10 years' time. That amount is not the amount it will be in 20 years' time. Imagine when you come back here in 20 years' time, the trees will have been making money for the last 17 years if you are here in 20 years' time, and someone is saying, I want to come and buy your palm tree farm. Imagine the amount that you will put on it at that time. And as a matter of fact, the benefits that you will make from this investment in 3 to 4 years, every money that you are investing today, you will have been able to recoup all of that money between 3 to 4 years of your first year of investing, right? So we also put this in place for food security, because we support food production, right, as an organization. So palm oil is an essential agricultural commodity, particularly in Nigeria and across the whole of Africa. Then I'm going to talk about professional management. You can see that you just heard from our farm manager. From the level of intelligence you have, you realize that this is not the first project he's handling. It's a professional manager, and he has his entire team, right? And then we are still doing much more consultation. So in the next few years, by the time this oil palm starts to produce, we are putting our own mill here, our plant, where we produce and extract all the necessary derivative for marketing and exportation purposes. Now, again, so this is a generational investment. If you don't need it, please buy for your children. If your children do not need it, please buy for your grandchildren. Because the Bible said that a wise man leaves inheritance for his children's children. So you are not necessarily investing for yourself, you just can invest for your grandchildren. And I used to say in some of my lectures, if you don't want your grandchildren to forget your name, put a real estate investment in place for them. By the time they are selling, or by the time they are benefiting from that, they will see the name on it. They will know, oh, it's grandpa that gave us. Many of us don't know our grandparents' name. I don't know my grandpa's name. I don't know my grandmother's name. But you see, assuming there's a real estate somewhere that was bought for me, and it was the principal person standing for me at that time, definitely there's no way I will forget his name. So this is a generational investment. Now, again, I mentioned before that Nigeria has a huge market gap, right? So there's a strong domestic consumption of palm oil. So therefore, there's need for us to have local production more and more and more. And lastly, I'm going to show us again that you are physically standing on what we have done. Right? Anywhere you are seeing a tree with a tag on it, there's a palm tree planted beside it. Right? Just look around the entire estate. So we've planted more than 60 acres already. And before the end of this year, we want to ensure that we've done far more than 100 acres. But like I said before, we have over 700 acres here. So, and we are closing sales on this one so that we allocate for everybody who had already invested. So if you are subscribing to Zenith Palm Place Phase 1, today till 31st of August, there will be no extension. There is no anybody, we used to say, some people beg us and so therefore we extended. There is no extension in this one. We are closing it on the 31st. So please and please buy now, or tell your clients to buy now, or tell your relative to buy now, or buy for yourself. Please again, I want to say for most of our realtors, don't make all the money that you are making and not have something in place for yourself. If you cannot afford Lagos land, this is an investment that will be worth much more than Lagos land, because you are buying to start collecting rent almost immediately. In 3 years' time, those that are getting allocation today, 3 years from now, they must start collecting their money. So at this point, with this few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that today, you need to invest into Palm Place. We are going to manage for you. We are going to clear the land on your behalf. We are going to plant on your behalf. We will manage it for the first 3 years on your behalf. And afterward, we'll then go into the reproduction itself. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful day.